Hi everyone, it's Karen here and welcome back. Today I'm creating a new project using the new Moon Child collection by Frank Garcia. It's a beautiful collection and I want to create an altered embroidery hoop using this, but I'm not actually going to use it as an embroidery hoop. I mainly want the circles to do something else and you'll see what I mean. I just want to show you a little bit of the collection. I only got the 8x8 pack, so this is what I can show you, but they look similar to the 12x12. Oh, I guess I could do it this way because it's not as big. Let's see, maybe like sideways. So it's a really pretty collection and a lot of celestial stuff. So look how pretty that is. It looks like a kind of galaxy, Andromeda. I don't know what they're called. Don't ask me about names of things, but this is it. And so there's how many pages of each? There is 5 of each sheets of papers. There's 6 different ones. So there's lots of like stuff to work with. Hold on, let me get the next one. Okay, there is the other set. How pretty is that? Lots of little moons. I've already cut some things to prepare for this project, so you might see some pieces in different places. The next one, it looks like this, kind of 1980s or 60s, I'm not sure, really nice, and kind of a marbled effect here. Then we have this one that looks like crystals to me, and here is the other one, so it's really pretty. Then there's this one, yeah, just making sure, this one, and one of my favorite ones, which is the last one, but really pretty, and the one I'm going to use today is this one, and I am going to cut a few circles out of this to create my project. So let's get started. So I have this hoop. I think it's a 7-inch embroidery hoop. I originally wanted to use the outside layer, but I cut the circle too small, so I'm going to use the inside layer, but I'm going to show you what I am going to do. So the first thing I did is I cut this circle. This is going to be at the bottom of the hoop, and then I'm going to have a clear one at the top. I'm trying to create a shaker element to this, so I'm going to be gluing this on top, and it's a plastic one. It's a little bit giving me some issues because it's a little bit turning the opposite way of what I wanted to do. And then to be able to hide the glue, I am going to add this on top. So it will give that really cool 3D shadow effect. Now, because I don't have anything to use to hang it, because I'm using the other circle, what I'm going to do is I am going to add a few strings both at the top and at the bottom, so I could hang things off it and also hang it on top. So it will be like a hanging element. So I got this really nice silver thin string. I want it as thin as possible, like, because I want to make sure that there's no holes. So if I put stuff that that shakes inside, it won't bother it. So I'm going to tie a few elements here, a few strings here on top, almost to make it look like a dream catcher. But it will just be something like a mobile or something you can hang to decorate if you love this type of themes. But I'm not going to show you this right now. I mean, I'm going to tie them up first and then come back, because there's no need for you to see how I tie them. I'll just show you the end result. Okay, so I attached one string at the top that you can hang things by. It's hard to see, but here it is. You could also use a fishing wire if you don't have this type of string. I am listing all the different products that I used below in the description area, so you can always see for reference there. And I have links to where you can buy them. And this is like the strings that I touched 5 strings, and you can barely see them, which is nice, because the whole point is for it to be very subtle and to be able to see the rest of the stuff. Now, before I move on, I want to do something, and this will help it keep in place. I'm going to use some soft matte gel, and with my finger, and you don't have to use your finger, but with my finger, I'm just going to put some glue so it keeps the string in place, because it's very annoying if your string is moving. So this way it will keep it in place, it will keep the knot sealed, and then all you have to do, and then you can really cut those extra pieces that are left. So I'm going to do this to all 5 of them. You could use a brush for this as well. You don't have to do what I'm doing with my fingers. I love using my fingers, but you don't have to. That way also the string will not roll anywhere else. So there's good. This one is fine. I cut it pretty short. I'm going to heat set this gel because I do not want it to be sticky inside. I want to make sure everything is fully dry before I put any elements that might stick to it. So for example, like any little thing that I might put inside the box, inside the shaking part, any shakers, any shaking elements, I meant to say. So now it's going to hold in place all 5 elements here. And I'm going to have these 5 strings that might hold something. I'm going to cut some charms or something like that. So let me heat set this and then I will continue. Okay, now it's time to glue these panels onto it, and I have to be careful obviously with the strings that I don't glue the string because they're so thin that I can barely see them. And what I did is I put a little bit of gel medium, soft gel medium inside of here, and it's a really easier way to basically apply everything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work upside down for it. So first I'm going to add the gel medium all around. Since I want a really thin cover, it's really easy to just add this little bit on it. Okay, so I put it all around, and then I'm going to take my circle, but obviously I'm going to put it this way because it's upside down. And that's perfect. I just want to make sure everything was glued properly before I turn it around. So now I have it like this. There we go. I'm going to let this dry a little bit before I put the next panel. Okay, while the layer is drying, what I did is I cut a few planets, or I don't know, moons, out of the papers. They are like I fussy cut them, and then I also cut a moon and some stars. I die cut them from the one that looks like a crystal paper but more like the whitish area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this chalk edger, which is called hydrangea, and I'm going to edge all the elements. The reason why is because they're white and they're kind of getting lost in the background. I mean, it just looks nice when you can actually make it look as if it's standing out. So I'm going to edge all around the stars, the moons, and this big moon as well. And that's the elements that I'm going to have inside, along with some really nice glitter looking elements that come with this Moon Child collection. I also have some half moons over here, and they can kind of go at the edges. We'll see how I make them fit. Once I have all the stars edged, then I'm going to be placing them inside. So I have to put all the elements that I want inside here. That way, when I seal it, they stay in there. I cannot obviously add them afterwards. So this is the top. Okay, good. So I'm thinking the moon I want to kind of stand out a bit more. So I might glue it to the other paper. But these moons can go here. But I think that I want them kind of stand out a little bit. I might put some 3D foam behind them. So I grab these 3D dots and I'm going to add them behind the moons and the stars. So I'm going to add these right here, and I know what's going to happen is that I'm going to get a little bit of the sticky edges here, and the little stars might actually stick to them, and that's okay. Okay, so I kind of glued all the moons, and now I'm going to put the stars. I think the stars, I might not actually raise them. I might just leave them like this. I think it looks nice. Let me just see where I want to place them, and then I'll glue them. So that's perfect, yeah. And I'm gonna use this glue just because it's easy to just use this. It would probably look nice if they were raised as well, but I actually want things to look different in different heights. So the moons are raised while the stars are not. So that's basically how it's going to look. That's going to be the background, which I really, really love. And I'm also going to add some of these glittery stars or moons that come in the set. This is also from the Moon Child, but I want to dry this first a little bit. So I'm actually going to dry this, and then I'm going to add them before I glue the top. Okay, I want to add some of these. So I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to add. There's moons, there's stars, there's moons and stars. Let's just see. Let me open this. And obviously everything is going to fly, so I got myself a container. So that way I can put things in a container right away. So I am going to put a few of these stars. Oh, how pretty are these? And I want these to kind of be around everywhere. I'm going to put these in a container here, whatever is left over. And now I want a few of these moons. There's also hearts, which I don't think I'm going to add, but these moons are nice. And now it's time to seal it. So I'm going to again add a thin layer all around. You have to make sure that you have it everywhere, because you can't have any holes. If you have any holes, then the little things can come out, so it's not a good idea. I want to make sure that I have it everywhere. And now I'm going to put the plastic on top. This is quite a hard plastic. You can use anything. You can even use packaging. It's what I found. I wish I would have found those like transparencies, but I didn't have any. So I might have to hold this for a few minutes so it doesn't open up. Okay, now that this is dry, look how cute. You can really move the stars around and it looks really, really pretty. So I'm going to put the outer ring on top of it, just so it stays nice and clean. Although technically you can't even see the glue, but it looks nicer that way. So I like it better. So again, I'm going to use the glue. This time I can actually put it on this. It might be just easier. And then I'm going to glue it on top. Now the moon is going to be around here. And I'm going to also decorate with some flowers. Now to make it a little bit more texturized, I want to add a little bit of paper texture at the edges. That will make it look really cool and more earthy. So I'm taking a brush. This is a quite hard brush, and I'm going to go around and just add texture everywhere randomly. It doesn't have to be like exact, because the whole point is that you don't want it to look like you want it to look like a moon, like a rough moon. And that's basically what this reminds me of. Just be careful with the strings, obviously, because I still haven't put anything on them. So that looks really cool. And then what I want to do is that I also want to cover with white like the edges of the ring. So just to make it a little bit more even. So I'm gonna go all the way around, okay? That way it just matches everything else. And I like the fact that it's gonna be a bit rough, like the paste. Because moon, if you look at the moon surface, it's not flat. It has like grooves and it has really rough surface. So I'm just careful with the strings. I'm just kind of going over the string. So that is also going to hold the strings in place, which is nice. This also seals any seams. If I missed anywhere of the actual clear plastic didn't glue properly, it actually seals it. I'm kind of sealing any holes that might be there. While the paste is drying, I don't want to do or touch it or do anything to it, because if I heat set it too much, it might melt the plastic. So in the meantime, I want to tie up some things to the bottom of the strings. I picked a few of them. These are old Prima embellishments and some other beads. And then the most beautiful things are from Moon Child. These are embellishments from that. And I'm going to get these 2 moons and I'm going to add them. I'm also going to use these stars. They are the Prima Ephemera, and I'm going to glue one onto each metal piece here. So I have stars there as well. So I'm going to use some gel for that and take everything apart and just glue them on. So there we go. We have 3 stars. And then we're going to add the stars over here. I think I'm going to use some heavy gel for this one. I want to make sure that it stays in place. These are really old embellishments. You can really use anything to hang and to make that really cute dream catcher looking thing. I'm going to just clean around the edges as well of the stars, and then I'm going to tie it all up. I'm actually going to move the stars. I don't want them to be centered. Now I'm going to untie these. They're tied up in the back. There's one that's going to go here, and the other one, I'm taking both white ones just because they match better and they have a beautiful pearl on them. And I'm just going to tie it all up. So I ended up not using all the charms that I wanted to use because they didn't look good. I just ended up using these 5 charms, so 2 moons from the collection and these other ones, which look perfect. These look like moons themselves and stars, so it's perfect. It almost looked like the 5 phases of the moon, which is really cute. And now I'm just going to embellish with some flowers and the moon itself, the other moon that I cut out. So I'm going to glue the moon over here. That's what I want to do. And then I'm going to bring some flowers. These are flowers from the collection. I've already pre-picked the ones that I wanted, but there's some really beautiful flowers in this collection, as you can see. Like, there's just really beautiful ones. And I'm just going to arrange them the way I like it. I kind of thought about it in advance to just have these over here. And I think I'm going to use the gel medium to glue. You could use Fabri-Tac, you could use anything you want. And just a little bit of gel in the back of the flower is sufficient, because it acts as glue, so it's perfect. And then I thought to add some cheesecloth in between the flowers. I love the look of like the frayed cheesecloth. So I'm just going to cut a few pieces just to put a little bit in between the flowers to kind of make them even, they could even like fall through or something like that. And since the glue is still wet, it just kind of, it makes it softer and more celestial that way. And then I can take the paper paste and just add a few white highlights to the flowers to kind of match the rest. Kind of helps it blend in a little bit. I just want to maybe add a little bit of white also here in these wooden areas to kind of match it up, because the wood kind of doesn't match anything. I'm just going to lighten it up a little bit. I could paint these also if I wanted to in white paint, but just to make this a little bit, match a little bit the rest of the decor. I just have to let this dry really well afterwards. Otherwise it will be a mess. And that's basically it. You can hang this anywhere. It'll look really nicely hung somewhere. And it will look so pretty once it's all dried up. And it's a perfect altered thing that you can make with this collection, which is so, so pretty. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked our video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends on social media. For more inspiration, visit the Prima blog or my blog, KarenTamir.com, and also subscribe to both my channel and the Prima channel. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. Bye!